What's up, everybody? This is Marnik van den Broek, and welcome to a new episode of the Stand Up Talk. And we have again two special guests. Normally I say a special guest, but it's two special guests. I've been announcing it for some episodes now, but you see her right here next to me if you're watching on YouTube. She is back. It's Natalie V. Natalie V, how are you doing? Welcome back.
I'm very happy to be back. So it's good.
You have been working on your e-commerce.
Yeah, it's been busy and non-busy and busy at the same time, but I'm very happy to be back.
Yeah, I'm also, look, the screen is so much better now. You have a lady here. And people are just tired of seeing me and my hoodie and my headphones. So great to have you back.
Thanks.
Feel free to join in. And another special guest, and the guest we're going to talk about today, you brought, I could say, a fellow fashion colleague, friend.
Joint women forces.
There you go. And you're already here laughing, but I would like to introduce you to Clio Hendrickx. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm very happy and very glad to be here with you guys. So very good, in fact.
You look great. The background is like you're somewhere in a pizza in the sunshine, while we're here in Belgium lockdown. But
we're just in our headquarters, but let's say it's hanging full of new collection, bright colors. So we try to get those holiday vibes right.
It's really coming true. Like you look like we're somewhere stuck in Russia somewhere in the lockdown, and you're like, hi, I'm here from the Ibiza.
With the crispy white, it feels like a summer vibe.
Nice.
I like that vibe.
Nice. Good to have you here. Like I said, some people might not know you. Definitely in Belgium, where from, everybody's like, oh my God, it's Clio, because you have a major following together with your sisters, and the brand is going great, and that's what we're going to talk about. But I can imagine people that are listening from abroad. We have listeners from US, we have listeners from Spain. They're like, Clio Hendrickx, who the hell, whatever. Stick around, because this is gonna change your life. Definitely if you're a lady entrepreneur. She's looking at me. The expectations are too high now, Marnik. But what we do with every guest, Clio, I don't know if you heard it before, but we would like to get to know you a bit.
Yeah.
We know you a bit. And what we're gonna do is do you like 3 would you rather questions to see what you would choose. There are no wrong answers. Everything is right. It's just what you prefer more and why a bit. So Natalie, put her to the test. Let's see what you would rather do.
It sounds very strict, put her to the test. It's just 3 simple questions. The first one is, would you rather wear a full year of Crocs or a full year of Valentino stilettos? And why?
Oh, for sure the latter, because Crocs are really out of our comfort zone, out of our fashion zone. They are not done. They're very comfortable, but let's say we stick with Crocs for the kids, and that's like it. And the Valentinos, certainly post-COVID times, I think we all rather like to shine, get away from the great COVID pigeons we were, and become like birds of paradise wearing high heels. So for sure, the second one.
Okay, great.
But a whole year. Oh my God.
Even with kids, with kids.
Even with kids, I think, I'd rather walk on Valentino heels than on Crocs, because it wouldn't match the other items of the outfit.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
All right.
Okay, Valentino's it is.
Yes. Second one. Would you rather have a lunch with fashion icon Chiara Ferragni or have a good business talk with Melinda Gates, and why?
Well, I think for sure the second one, maybe just personally, because I am not so much into Chiara Ferragni, because she's just a little bit too Italian and too, and we're maybe more like easy and
we're down to
I'm always into a business talk. In fact, I always like to learn and to compare and talk to other women about their businesses and dreams. So you could put me all evening talking about business rather than Chiara Ferragni and her own collections and style.
Okay. We were talking about it yesterday, and we were like, "What she's going to choose? She's going to choose business. She's going to choose it." So we're right. 10 points for Natalie.
You know me quite well, Natalie.
And the last one: would you rather go a day interior shopping in Bonn or have a fashion day in Le Marais, Paris?
Oh, that's easy. That's really easy. For sure. Also the latter, because we breed Le Marais. Le Marais is like our biggest dream to have a store there one day. So yeah, it's like the place we like to be most, me and my sisters. So that's not a hard one to choose.
Okay,
We are
get me
there
inspired.
often to get some inspiration, to see the Parisian fashion scene, and the neighborhood is just great. So beam me up, please.
Okay, great.
Nice. Now I'm still thinking like, what the hell is Le Marais? It's just like it's fashion street in Paris.
It's
Or
like a district. It's like,
It's a
yeah.
district, yes. It's
Okay.
like a very arty-farty district with nice small boutiques, you know, not the big chains, but the small special stores.
Yeah.
And it's like our biggest dream to have a shop there once. So fingers crossed, we'll see what the future brings.
Nice. All right. So we have whole year on Valentino's, not the Crocs. We have the shopping district in Paris and living the life and having business discussions with Melinda Gates or any other female entrepreneur and just talk like how you can change business and society. All right.
That sounds just great for me.
There you go. So that's clear. Good answer. Like I said, no right or wrong answers. Everything is okay. And we're going to talk about, of course, more because we teased it a bit. If you're listening right now, Clio, we're talking about fashion. We're talking about entrepreneurship, opening stores. You already said it, and we're doing all that on high heels. So it's going to be amazing. I have the feeling, Natalie, that I'm going to learn a lot here because normally I'm super comfortable. I'm also super comfortable. You don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I know what the guest is going to talk about, but now I feel like I'm outnumbered here. You're talking about stuff I have no clue. So
That's a good thing.
so.
yeah.
I think it will be a nice topic for you as well because it's maybe more out of your comfort zone, Manik, but I'm sure me and Natalie will give you the insights and all the stuff you really wanted to know about.
Suck it up like a sponge. Men that are listening, listen carefully because this is the moment that we're gonna hear.
Let's hope.
Okay, I think you're ready. Cleo, you're ready. Natalie, you're ready.
Yep.
Welcome back, by the way. So it's time to kick this episode off, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stand Up Talk.
Are you listening? Damn.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still here with the Stand Up Talk with Natalie V and our special guest, Clio Hendrickx. And Clio, we teased a bit in the first questions, and people have the suspicion it's about entrepreneurship, about fashion, what you're doing. And in short, you are one of the three founders of Les Sœurs, the French for sisters, and you're also working with your sisters. We're going to talk about that in a second. But for the people that don't know you, what is Les Sœurs? What does it stand for? Of course, it's a brand, so something to do with fashion, but in your words, what do you do and what is the brand about?
It's quite easy, like you already said, Manik. Les Sœurs, that's us. That's the three of us, the heart and soul of my middle sister, Kay, my youngest sister, Jules, and myself, Clio, the oldest of the pack. And with our fashion and accessory label, Les Sœurs, we want to prove, in fact, that decent fashion doesn't always need to be expensive. We try to find those treasures on the market in terms of clothing, in terms of jewelry, in terms of interior items, which we as girls like and which are affordable. And we try to collect those treasures in our own stores. We have now 5 stores in Belgium, in Hasselt, Antwerp, Ghent, Knokke, Schilde, and then 1 in the Netherlands, Maastricht. And some selected boutiques all over Europe. And also we sell our stuff through our own web shop, lesser.be. So that's in a nutshell what we do. In fact.
And how long do you exist right now? Because time flies, but it, in my opinion, is not that long. That I knew you started with the here I'm gonna do the trend. You started with the Gladyses. It's like this.
He knows.
Bracelet. But when did you start? Because for me, it's only a few years back, and you're already talking about a gazillion stores.
Yeah, well, that's because maybe it was really not the thing of starting a business together, but just growing into our interests and passions. And let's say that Les Sœurs started already as teenagers because we were always truly fascinated by the world of fashion. And as youngsters, we traveled to Milan, we traveled to Paris during Fashion Week, and we just sneaked into those big fashion shows to experience the world of haute couture and fashion design from front row.
Yeah.
So we were quite in, but uninvited that days. And needless to say, expensive designer labels were far beyond our student budget. So what we decided was to try to make those things by ourselves. And Kay, my middle sister, she started taking sewing classes, and Jules followed a course of jewelry design. And in fact, from that moment onwards, Lesseur was born, because we started making things, creating things based on the ideas and all the things we saw in the world of fashion. And we started selling them. In the first place, we made them for ourselves just because we liked it. But then we saw that friends, and then friends of friends, and friends of friends of friends also were interested and liked the things we made. So we started doing home parties. We showed and sold our creations to friends. And as a next step, we built our own web shop. That was like about 2011, I think. So yeah, 10 years ago from now.
Yeah.
It's quite a number, in fact.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we opened our first pop-up store in Hasselt. That was 4 years later, in September 2015. And that was quite of a test for us, because we were never into running stores and stuff. So it turned out to be a success. And we decided to stay, and we opened our first permanent store in Hasselt later that year. And by that time, okay, shit was getting real. So before, it was just us and our passions and our creations. But then all of a sudden, it seemed like many women were interested in buying our stuff, and we were opening a store. So that was the moment where we really jumped. And I was the first one to quit my full-time job in 2015 to open our first store.
That's a big step, yeah.
And it was quite a big step. And then with the 2 second stores that followed, my other 2 sisters did the same thing. So we were really into business by then. And then we felt like continuing this mission and opening more stores. But of course, we ran out of sisters. So long story short, we started hiring people, and that's where we are today. So we are here now, us 3 sisters, and an incredible team of about 25 employees, running and growing our own Lesseur label in the fascinating big world of fashion.
Wow.
There you go. And that's why we invited you also, because if you're listening right now, no doubt that you're like, okay, I didn't know who Clio Hendrickx was. Lesseur, it's a fashion brand, what's going on? And then in a time of like 10, 11, 12 years, you go from, let's make some jewelry, let's do some sewing classes, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, our friends also like it. And then all these stores, 25 people, everybody quitting their job, working with that's an amazing, not to suck up to you because you're on the podcast, but that's an amazing trajectory that you...
Was it actually something that was in your family, like the entrepreneurship, the fashion? Is it like only you 3, or is it like something that runs in the family?
Well, it quite runs in the family, because we have a family of entrepreneurs, and we were raised quite free and open in this way, that we always could do and undertake the things that we wanted. Our parents, they stimulated us to create, to do things that we dreamt of. Like small kids, we were already next to the streets doing our own garage sale and selling stuff we found. And they liked it, and they stimulated it. We could do whatever we wanted. Also, our grandfather was, at his times, a big entrepreneur locally. And they just were very open and very stimulating in these things. And that's because of that, we were never hesitating to do it, because they said, just give it a try and you'll see what happens. So it was quite in the family.
You really had that entrepreneurial spirit. You got it from home. But then how do you because if people are listening and they're starting their business, the moment you said, oh, shit got real. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs also, when we talked to Niels Petermans a while back in another episode, who started multiple successful businesses, he also started in, I think this is great, I'm going to do it with my friends, see how it goes. And you started with the sewing and the jewelry. But then still, when you see it growing, when do you, maybe it's a vague question, but when do you decide or let's go further, or now shit is really getting real, because it goes from let's have some fun and sell some stuff to friends to, oh my God, we're going to open our store and one of us has to quit their job. Has there been a moment that you're like, are we going to continue this? Are we going to stop now? Or was it just, it's the
Well,
logical and you just go with the flow?
everything grew quite organically, I have to admit. So it was really like a journey that went from zero to where we are today.
Yeah.
But one specific moment, that's the moment where we decided, okay, we ran that pop-up store. It was a success. And the moment we decided, okay, now we have to see what we'll do, because it's becoming more than a full-time job.
Mhm.
And if we want to make it professional and do it right, we really need to turn it into a professional business.
Yes.
And I really remember that moment. We were on holidays in France, sitting all together with the family around the table. And it was at that moment that we decided what we're going to do. Because, yeah, this is growing bigger than we intended in the first place. So we all have full-time jobs. Shall we quit it because it's getting too much, or do we decide to go for it? And okay, we were looking to each other and everybody was very convinced. We decided to go for it. Yes, we will go for it. And then, okay, the next question was, who of us will take the first step? And we were looking around because we were all scared in our comfort zone, having our jobs we had. And then, okay, my two sisters said that, Clio, maybe it's best that you start and take the first jump, because
Mhm.
you have created most of the experience. You have been working for 10 years now, and you have quite a various experience in a lot of things. So maybe you should take the first step. And in fact, at that certain moment, that was the point where we decided, okay, let's go for it. Let's quit our jobs. Let's make this a real, true professional business and not just a sister business for ourselves. So I think that was the most crucial point in our journey. All the befores and the afters were just logic results of the previous steps.
Yep.
It's there's so much in there. Like I think to if you're listening when you start a business, I think also if I look at your e-commerce shop that you're doing right now, Natalie,
It's a small one.
don't downsize what you're doing.
No, watch
There you-
out, Natalie. Watch out.
There you go. It can go quicker than you think. I already ordered some trucks.
Yes.
But you started from, maybe that's like the basic foundation. You hear that so much with entrepreneurs that maybe I was wrong in that. When I was working, I was like, I saw my parents and all my uncles and everybody was an entrepreneur, and I saw it all my life. And I was like, I need to start my own business someday. I need to become an entrepreneur.
Wow.
And I never found it. And every time I talk to a successful entrepreneur like you, or I look at Natalie's e-commerce business going great, it's always like, I'm starting with something that I like, that I see a problem I want to solve. I do it for myself, maybe some friends. And it's always that. It's never that someone says, and now I'm going to start a business. Or am I
It's just not like that. No, that's true.
I think it often grows from a certain passion or a certain thing you see around you with your friends, your family, and you're like, okay, it's my passion, and there's like a need, there's something missing in the market, and then it flows together or something. I don't know, how to say that.
I can only agree, because there needs to be a driver. And
Mhm.
like Natalie is saying, our driver was that we were passionate and we saw a lot of expensive, beautiful things that we couldn't afford.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be able to wear it, to have it. So we didn't find it. So we decided to create it ourselves.
Mhm.
Like Natalie is saying, also your web shop, you start creating something where you think there is still a missing link on the market.
Yeah.
And then, okay, all of a sudden you're an entrepreneur. But I can tell, for us, it was never the dream or the intention, let's become an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
It's a nice result because we like to be an entrepreneur now. But yeah, the trigger was passion and our quest for certain products, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also like that because we had a shoot a while back in one of your stores, and we had some Dutch suppliers helping us, and they came in, and that's exactly what you said. You solved the problem. You didn't start, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to have stores. You started with your sisters. We see all this expensive stuff. walking around in our Valentinos in Paris, and we can't afford it, but we want it, and we're gonna make that affordable and still have that same look. And the cool thing is, I'm just saying that because she told me there was this lady from the Netherlands, and she was standing there walking into your store, and she said to me like, "Oh my God, how beautiful is this store?" And it also, this got to be so expensive. Look at all the fashion here. And she started looking at what everything there, and she literally said, "Oh my God, I can afford this." And she was immediately in love. And that's the premise that you started with, like, beautiful clothes, beautiful jewelry, but you don't have to spend $1 million. That's really, that's cool. So you started it. You said, let's do this. It grew really fast. And like I said, there's a lot in there because you started renting stores or buying stores. You had 25 people still working for you. There's a lot of shipping with it. You also have your e-commerce. So there's so much stuff that entrepreneurs are working with, struggling with, that is in there. So I want to dive real quick in those different elements to see if we can give them some golden nuggets from your perspective. And the first one, and I'm asking because in the previous podcast, we also asked it to another entrepreneur, and they talked about working with co-founders, and it really exploded. So many people responded positively, like, that's exactly what I need. Now you're going a step further. You're not only working with co-founders, you're working with your sisters. And they always say, never do business with family unless you're the mafia. How do you make that work? Because every time you see you, it's like the three of you, it's you're working together. Everybody has their thing. How do you make that work, working with co-founders and sisters?
Well, in our case, I think it's a combination of three important things. First, we made up some clear rules and agreements between the three of us. And good students we are, rules are there to be followed. So we made up an agreement listing different topics and clauses like which are of importance to us. This goes from daily decision making to succession rights to exit strategy. We talked about it. We documented these things, so we have something on paper. We made agreements about certain topics. Then, secondly, there's also a clear division of tasks and responsibilities between the three of us. So we all do different jobs within the company, meaning that we're not breathing in each other's neck all the time, and that we have space and liberty to develop ourselves and to contribute to the company in our own way. Very important, I think. And then last but not least, there is the important law of democracy in our decision making. It's very easy. We can fight and have discussions and different opinions, but it's always us three going over important decisions. So 2 against 1, and we have a majority, and that's all set. So in the end, we always decide. And if we have 2 against 1, decisions are made and we don't look back on them. So agreements, liberty and space to do your own thing. And yeah, we are with 3, and it's always easy to have an equal number there to decide. So I think that's quite it.
Yeah. Well, I know all 3 of you, but for your opinion, is it better to have like 3 people that are close to each other and have the same opinions about things, or that you just have 3 very different opinions that you sometimes clash, but in the end, the result maybe gets better?
Yeah, I like the second one, because in case we would be 3 of the same kind, I think what's the big advantage of working together if you can only do it by yourself, because the other 2 are exactly the same. And I can tell that the 3 of us are same but different, like they say. So we all have our own tastes and experience and passion and expertise, and that's what makes it work. So we like Kay, for example, is our big creative one. She is the one who has the trendy ideas and who looks further and who likes to develop and create. And then Jules is like the easy, the most, in fact, she is the wisest of the 3, and she is like the one who is very good with people. So she's covering things like HR, but also in the purchasing part, she is doing the jewelry collection. And then, so Kay and Jules are more expertise in the part of buying and HR. And Kay is also very good in numbers. So she is doing all accountancy tasks, and me, myself, I'm more like the marketing side, the sales side, the PR side. So that's what makes it work, because we can put all those talents together. And then, okay, we don't always have the same opinions, and we dare to fight and to discuss and to clash. But in the end of the day, we all have the same goal, and that's just to make Le Sœur work. It's not about us as individuals or sisters. It's about our dream, Le Sœur. And in the end, we are smart enough to sometimes back off and to just go for the decision which is right for Le Sœur. So let's say we are clever enough not to make it an ego kind of discussion, but rather a strategic discussion to make the right decisions for our mutual passion and dream, being to make Le Sœur work.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It sounds like, oh yeah, everybody can do that, but there's so many examples that it's so hard to work with co-founders, one, and two, work with family.
True.
But indeed, like you summed up yourself, the roles, having the voting system in place, like I can say X, you can say Y, and then we have to ask our cat that just passed to what she thinks. Most of the time, it's just give me food. But that's the roles, responsibilities, using everybody's strengths, knowing what everybody's good at, and like you said, the common goal. It's not about you. It's not put the egos aside. It's just making this business work. So that I think if you're listening and you're working with a co-founder or you're planning on working with family, these are the things. I recognize also some stuff with what Niels is saying. So there's common ground. So I think these are really the golden nuggets that can make it work. And I really stress it because in our workshops of co-communication, it's one of the most frequently asked questions, like, how do I make it work with my co-founder? We fight all the time. And then hearing from you.
But it's really like these secret ingredients. It's just making clear agreements, good, like you mentioned, the good role division, the clear goal, no egos. This selection of things and could make it work. And I can tell from the last 10 years, we're still sitting here very happy that we decided to do this together. So yes, it can be manageable.
Nice.
And I can totally agree, because when I see you three together, preparing the photo shoots and putting everything together, I know everybody's like, we don't really like the photo shoots because we're nervous, but you three are still the faces of the brand of Le Sœur. And when you three are together, it's like something magical. I know it sounds like fluffy duffy, but something magical happens. And that is a very beautiful thing to see from an outsider, that you all three have your own roles, but when you're together, you strengthen each other and it gets better.
Yes, I totally can follow what you're saying, Natalie, because I think, and that's a question we sometimes get, what if you were on your own? Would you have done this? Would you have created this Le Sœur thing? And I think all of us would say no, because it wouldn't be that magical. And we couldn't do it without our sisters, because it's just a combination of the three of us, which makes this Le Sœur thing something special. And all three of us would say, no, we'd never dare to do it on our own, because it wouldn't be the same.
Okay, cool. So sum it up. So many years in the business, starting with that drive, starting with that passion, not necessarily starting an entrepreneur, but just what do we want to change? And we want to make beautiful fashion, haute couture clothing, affordable, that we can wear it, that our friends can wear it. And now everybody in Belgium and beyond can wear it. You grew really quick. You work with your three sisters. You're still the face, because there's a good one now. They're still the face, and you see that connection. People are still like, even though you're growing and you have 25, the sisters are still there in the
driver's seat.
It's the strength. You work together, like we said, with the golden nuggets, and then you made the next big step besides working together. That's what you said: opening stores, hiring people. An entrepreneur once said to me, let's compare them to each other. One entrepreneur once said to me, if I knew what I know now, this is complicated. If I know what I knew now and know new, then you know what you mean. There you go. And he said, I would have hired people much quicker. But another entrepreneur said to me, I'm never working with staff again. And on the other hand, they say the moment you start with stores and deliveries and where your costs are going so high. And I can imagine that a lot of people starting their business, if it's fashion or whatever, that's the big next step where they might break off. Oh my God, I'm getting so big. I don't want all that hassle.
Yeah.
How did you deal with it? Because you're going more to managing than actually being into the product. So how did you do that?
In fact, honestly, we just manage it. It's something I truly understand the things the other people said, because yeah, hiring people, renting stores, it's quite serious. And we never thought about this in the first place. But yeah, you look at the business, you look at the opportunities, and then it's just not, do we want this? Yeah, it is, do we want this? Because you can always decide, no, I want to work on my own. I don't want to have this big of a team. I just like it to be by myself and run my business. But then, okay, it stops somewhere. So for us, it was a logic result. We couldn't take the leap, couldn't take the next step without hiring people, because it was just us, and we couldn't grow without opening more stores. So
It would
it's
limit
like,
you or something. Yeah.
yeah, it just happened, and we were smart enough to understand that this was the next logical step to take if we wanted to get there. So okay, today you have also e-commerce, which is a very great tool not to think in brick and mortar stores. You can also decide, like, for example, Natalie and a lot of entrepreneurs, which is a very nice step up to start opening an e-commerce and started selling your products on this store, and without hiring a lot of people and stuff. But yeah, it just happened to us, and we didn't bother, and we don't feel sorry we did. We have a great team, and we wouldn't be here without them. So we are really the people that have the idea, if we can't share, we can't multiply. So we like to multiply.
That's a good philosophy. And how do you go to that first? You just go with the flow, but how do you go to that first employee, for example? Because Natalie and I have been working together for like also a couple of years now in stand-up company, and we sometimes discuss, like, if we get bigger and we decide, we're not sure yet, but if we decide to hire someone new in the team, how do you do? Because you talk about the sisters get along. You sit there in France, or I think it was France, deciding, yeah, let's grow this company, and you have the same goal, and you grew up together, and you have the same values and the same beliefs, and then all of a sudden you have to bring an external person. How do you do that and make sure that they fit, that they have that same goal, that they have the same values? Because that's what we're scared of. We're like, if a third person joins us, do they think the same as us or not?
I think it's always a risk there, because you never know in advance how it will turn out. But some things I can tell or can tip is that we work with interns all the time. So we have internships open all the time, and we already hired 2 people that started here with an internship. And then you have the time to get to know each other, to see what someone is capable of, and to see if it works. And yeah, 2 times out of 3 it worked, and we hired those people. So, but you can't tell by a face or just one
call or
conversation if somebody would really fit. But still, it's a feeling, and yeah, you quite feel if there's a match or not, and you just have to trust your gut, give it a try. I have to admit also that for certain people that joined our team, they were also family, so it runs in the family, and that was not that.
So still mafia. They're mafia.
They're Belgian mafia, but we hired, like, our auntie is running the store in Hasselt. She's our store manager there. Our niece is our area manager. Our mother is running our e-commerce business. Our father is helping out in logistics. So yeah, maybe one advice, because we always did that, is look around to the people you know. Are there people there who could match your business? We found some great people just around the corner, just in our family, just in our group of friends, and we dare to let them join the team. And yeah, till now, we didn't yet have to fire someone. So I think for now I can say that was a good decision. Yeah.
So yeah, that's of course I don't wish upon you that you have to fire people. That's like, that could be like the next big step. Also for me as a manager within PepsiCo, that was you're happy, joy, hiring people. Oh, the team is great. And at a certain point to say, yeah, we have to let go of that person. Yeah. But it's good, like you say, people around you, the trust is already there. You know, that's a good one. So maybe we should consider.
Yeah, true.
After internship is all actually a good one.
Yes,
I did that before, and it's a good
quite
way.
Accessible.
Yeah,
they're happy, you're happy. Doesn't cost.
And there's nothing to lose. They can learn, you can learn, you get to learn each other. And really, like, 2 of our main people came from an internship, and we had 6 months of time to get to know each other, to see what that person was capable of. You have nothing to lose. So I would advise to you guys to just open those internships and see if it works.
Great advice.
That's a good one. Now that we're talking about, you mentioned that e-commerce is it's booming, not only in the fashion industry. E-commerce, definitely with COVID now, everything's digital. People want to order. How do you look at that from your standpoint as an entrepreneur, from your standpoint being in fashion, running the e-commerce? I'm also looking at you, Natalie, your experience. I don't have an e-commerce shop, so I don't know. I just see what you ladies are doing. How do you look at that? Is e-commerce as big or going to be as big as they say? You still have a lot of brick and mortar stores. You still want to open more stores in Paris. Some people say, forget the mortar stores. You're saying, no, open more, combine them. What's your view on that?
Well, we truly believe in the omni-channel way. So we truly believe in a combination of brick and mortar and e-commerce, because brick and mortar keeps inspiring people, keeps the contact close. And then you have e-commerce, which is convenient and fast and next level. So in fact, we can really talk about pre-COVID times for Les Sœurs and a almost post, let's hope, COVID times for Les Sœurs. Because before COVID, our e-commerce business was quite of our little sister, not so important. In Belgium, e-commerce is running behind. So, okay, we run it, but it's not the most important part. Okay, and then came COVID and it scared us all and seriously shuffled our cards last year. So we were thinking to continue opening brick and mortar stores. Well, that didn't happen, of course. So in fact, we had to close all our 6 stores. And all of a sudden, e-commerce became such a big thing. And we have to admit that e-commerce was quite a lifesaver at that time. Luckily, we already had built a nice and decent online platform, and our customers easily found their way to it. So what we literally did was driving around like crazy all day, getting stock and clothes from all of our physical stores, putting them online, helping out customers 24/7, try to stand out in customer service. And in the end, make people convert as much as possible. And those were crazy days, but this flexibility to shift from brick and mortar to online sales, plus our lean and mean mentality at that moment, literally saved our asses. And we even managed to make 2020 a better year in terms of turnover compared to 2019. So COVID didn't stop us from growing. And where we treated our online store like stepmotherly pre-COVID times, now, today, it's our biggest store we have. From all the stores we have, our e-commerce business became our biggest store. So to us, this was an eye-opener. E-commerce is a must-have these days. It's not just an add-on to your business, and it's here to stay. We're so convinced, and we find it of great importance to not to ignore it, because it's not just brick and mortar stores anymore.
Yeah, I really like that. It's the same with you, and not to again pat you both on the back, scoring points here on the podcast. But for me, and that's just an opinion, you don't have to agree. But if I look what Natalie's doing, and if I look what you just said to me, I think that's, from my personal opinion, if I look at e-commerce, a lot of people think, I'm going to make an online store and do some ads and it's going to sell. And that might work for some experienced drop shippers, whatever these people are doing right now. But I like the fact that you say we drove around like crazy. We shifted, okay, we can no longer use the physical stores, so we're going to bring it. You put away the ego again, like you said, with the co-founders. And in the end, and like I said, that's how I experience e-commerce. And when you're successful or not, is you decided consciously, subconsciously, the client or the customer wants their clothing in the best possible service. And you were like, you want it now online because of COVID? We will get it to you online.
Exactly this. Yeah.
And with Natalie also, you're driving like yesterday also, people saying like, oh my God, you're actually in front of my doorstep. You have time for that. And Natalie's also, you need the product. Yes. I'm going to give you the product. You bought it online. I'm going to bring it. And
I think it's customer first for sure every time, even in the real stores or in e-commerce. I think that's the first thing ever. But when you give them, like you said, customer service 24/7, we help them if they have questions about sizes. I also see that when you handle your social media, there's always someone answering, like, is it bigger or is it true to size, or what's the price, and I think that is like the one thing that makes a difference than the bigger stores, because they cannot do that. You have that special something that make the customer feel special, and that is the most important thing, I think.
I think it's another secret ingredient we mentioned here, because it's customer service. Not only customer service, we're really thinking customer excellence, customer delightness. You really need to delight your customer, be there 24/7, because everyone can and everyone is opening e-commerce stores. So you can only stand out by offering the best of yourselves, by making offers, truly making offers, driving to that client, delivering the product, giving that advice, being personal, being custom based, not just the regular stuff, but build a relationship with your customer, because that's what we're always afraid of. When you have an e-commerce business only, you're just a face behind a screen. Now in our stores, we can help our customers, we can assist them, we can feel them, we can talk to them. And you need to try to copy that feeling and make it work in your e-commerce business as well. And that's also the small things, the fast service, customized response, fast deliveries. Yeah, go for that extra mile. And if you do it great, you can do a fantastic job online.
Yeah, and that's yeah, I think that's the secret to e-commerce. And also sometimes we have the discussion, like you're selling clothes, jewelry, things have to do with fashion. Natalie's more into the skincare, the makeup. And we also say to each other, doesn't really matter. Of course, you have to have good products, but doesn't really matter if someone else also sells something. Like you have a store next to you, it's also a clothing store, but where you make the difference online, offline, is how does that customer experience, like you said, the relationship? Are you delighting them? And then you can have the same clothing, the same skincare, but the client is going to choose the one they actually have a relationship.
Exactly this. You can really beat competition by being personal, by giving good customer service, by exceeding expectations, by making offers, by surprising your customers. It's only this, or it's this what's important.
But the store in Paris is still coming, the physical store.
I hope, yes, because for sure one of our plans stays or is still there. We still hope that post-COVID times we can continue to open brick and mortar stores, because it adds on the experience level and it gives a personal touch. Even we're still struggling and trying and finding how to bring that personal touch even more to our online store. So today we have a good online business and it's fine, but it's not excellent in our eyes. So one of our targets for next year is to even grow in excellence in e-commerce and evolve from the decent web shop we are today to digital transformation. There's still a lot of room for improvement there. And this year, or 2021, will be the year of digital disruption. And Research certainly wants to take her position there and try to stand out amongst our competition. And therefore, we now hired a high-end experienced digital agency to assist us in this mission, because we don't have the expertise ourselves.
Nice. Yeah, there's also a lot in there, like just source it in if you don't know it yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Surround yourself with people that know more than you, so
Sure.
you can grow. Otherwise, you're always staying in the same level, and you can inspire each other. But when you want to take the next step, I think surrounding yourself with people that know more, have expertise, is the next step to grow, I think.
Exact.
That's something
Exactly.
I struggle with. I
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing everything myself, and I'm also interested in a lot. So even though, for example, when something was wrong with our company website, whatever, I was like, I'm gonna dive into the code and I'm gonna figure it out. And you learn a lot, but in the end, Natalie says like, oh my God, just ask people. And then I started, like you said, outsourcing it, and then you're like, the weight falls off your shoulder as an entrepreneur, because you're like, oh my God, these people know so much more and it goes so much faster. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs still stick to, including me, to, man, let's do it myself.
I want to do everything myself. Yeah.
My little baby. So it's a strong.
Yeah, it's also something which is difficult to give out of hand, and it's a thing of trust, and you think you always do it better yourself, but yeah, it's not the case, in fact. And that's also something which is of great importance to us, to focus on your core business and talent, and outsource skills that you don't master, because there are people better than you there, like, for example, administration, logistics, IT, HR. Outsource it to external partners who are experts in this field, and you will be able to focus on your core and to grow even faster. So we learned to cope with this. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Are we writing this down here? That's good.
We're taking notes. We're taking
But I
notes.
know, I know the feeling.
I have two more questions. One of my questions that I wanted to end with is cliche, but it's also fun. But you already answered it. I was going to ask, what is like the next step for you and Lisseur, but you already answered it, like digital disruption going there. So I'm going to change that question. The question before that I still have, unless Natalie, you held us, so also have some add-on questions, questions that I don't know about, is in general, there's so much in this episode already that people can use that want to start a business. Ladies all over the world that are listening, taking, like, not even necessarily in fashion, just in general, e-commerce, starting their own store and whatever it is. So much in there. But if you would, because it's also, we're launching this and recording this in March, and it's how do you say that? International
Women's Day.
Exactly.
So March, there you go. I'm surrounded by ladies here. If you would give advice to specifically, and of course the men can also profit from it, a lady listening right now, and she's thinking like, I want to get that job, that promotion, start my own business. I heard already so much in the episode. What would be your advice to a person like that listening right now?
Okay. Well, just to be that girl who decided to go for it. We have, in fact, quite a few tips to share here. So, like, real true tips that we experienced ourselves. Like, first, to reduce the big step and the fear to jump, you can try to start up as a secondary occupation after your working hours. That's the way how we rolled into it. So in this way, you can gradually build something without taking too much risk, and continue to build your dreams until the earning model is lucrative enough to take the leap to full independence and entrepreneurship. So step by step, do it like a secondary job after your working hours. And then secondly, very important as well for women, make agreements with your partner and create a mutual schedule for housekeeping tasks, taking care of the children. Because like us, if you have kids, it's not always easy to build your dreams overnight. So your partner needs to be into it and needs to support you and be part of the plan. It's that's what makes it work. And then another barrier, like we discussed before, opening stores, that sounds so scary, and started paying rent and hiring people and stuff. today this barrier to selling your product or service is became quite low and accessible because you have e-commerce. It's so easy with packages like Shopify. You can easily build or have your own decent web shop for a small budget. So start online. The step is smaller than opening this store. You can really start your business online. Another thing of great importance, I already mentioned this, is to focus on your core business and talent, and don't hesitate to hire freelancers and consultants. I know it's a big word and they sound like very expensive, but you have a lot of young potentials nowadays with a lot of talents in certain fields like IT for your e-commerce business, in finance. Reach out. We did, and we're happy we did, because now we're still doing what we're good at and we're not coping with everything at the same time. Another advice I have is to grow slow and organic. That's my opinion. Just step by step is the way to go. Don't skip any. And another thing, take a good accountant. Invest in a good accountant, because there needs to be someone who, because you're living your dreams, building your dreams, but somebody needs to realistically monitor what you're making of it in terms of numbers and figures. So we're very happy. You really need to find an accountant who monitors this like a good house father, you know. And then last but not least, one tip I wanted to share is do not underestimate the power of social media. Make sure you're up to date here. So use all the different platforms to create awareness of what you're up to. Facebook, Instagram, but also media such as WhatsApp. They're of great importance and also really low budgets, and they give you the chance to communicate, to show the things you're doing, and to reach out to this world. So I think that's like my bunch of tips that I would give to those women thinking now, how should I start? Just start and take those tips with you and take the shot.
Great.
Some golden nuggets in there. Also, the men, write this down. It's not because she says women that you don't have to.
Everybody take your pen.
Very cool. Nice. So I want to end this podcast. What was it going in the future? Or answer this with a simple question. And that's not to just, it's also for me personally here, but we talked about fashion. We talked about running around on the Valentinos and things like that. What is up next? Let's talk fashion for a second.
Yeah, because I spy that the one that she's wearing, the listeners who are also checking YouTube, she's wearing something from their new collection.
Yes, that's right.
What's next? What's coming our way? Is it only sweatpants and COVID time and hoodies like I'm wearing? Or what's new? When am I? Of course, you're targeting ladies, but when are we hot and trending in the near seasons?
Well, there's one word or three: colors. We are really ready to shift from the gray Corona pigeon and hoodies and sweatpants to the colorful, like I said, the colorful birds of paradise. So think pretty pastels, think vivid colors, like purple, like I'm wearing, like aqua, which is chosen to be the Pantone color of the season. Color blocking is totally allowed. The more the merrier. So it's all about colors and showing up. So I think we have to remove those hoodies and sweatpants gradually, because we will think of those Valentino heels and those shorter dresses and those colorful clothes. It's everything we can imagine, because we were all sitting at home being gray, being beige, being boring, being comfy. And I think it's time now, and that's what we see in fashion trends, with vivid colors, mixing, matching, everything is allowed. It doesn't need to be too loose. It can be all a bit more curved. You can show your legs, you can show your Valentino heel. We're ready to show off. And I
ready
think
to pop.
That's the ready to pop. That's the major message here. So
looking forward.
Yeah.
So basically we messed up. If you're looking at YouTube right now, so I'm in a black hoodie with my Crocs. And that,
Oh no.
yeah, and Natalie, you still look beautiful, but like the beige brown, we're so not on trend here.
You still have time. It's only spring, summer is just around the corner, so you have time to catch up, to come to one of our stores, and we'll definitely dress you up in the next level shit.
There you go. But it's important, and I'm laughing a bit with it. Because I'm definitely not good in the whole fashion thing. That's why I have Natalie. But it's also a bit, and I want to end with that, is like you say, the colors. It doesn't surprise me that you say because I didn't know the next season is making you pop, being that tropical bird.
Yeah.
Because isn't fashion in general just representing what society wants and needs? Because we come from a very great period. And now everybody wants to go.
Marnik, I think you know more about fashion than you even imagined.
Oh
Don't underestimate yourself.
You are now officially my preferred guest of all podcasts.
No, it's completely true. We really want to wear and show how we feel. And I think everybody is looking to be free and liberated from those home offices, to show off, to dress up. And that's what we will do. And I think it will make the world a better place for just a small second.
For sure.
That is really true. You just feel better. You feel more, also as a male, you feel more confident. You definitely, when the sun is out and you have popping colors, life seems just better in your clothes. Now, is something you want to add?
No, I think we had a great conversation, had a lot of insights, really learned a lot. So that's always a good thing to end off. And for me, it was perfect.
Right,
no
cool.
further questions.
What I remember, I'm not going to give the sum of the whole episode, but what I remember is, like I said, it's when you're an entrepreneur and you're listening, like Clio says, start from your passion, solving a problem, something you want to do, change, and not necessarily because you want to own a company or hire people. Just do the job, go with the flow. Don't take too much risk in the beginning. If you're not up to it, just start your part-time job on the side, unless you can live with it. Don't be afraid to work with family. I know that wasn't your necessarily goal now, but if you're working with family, it's the people you trust. So use the people in your environment. And if you're working with co-founders, have those roles, responsibilities, use each other's strengths, outsource what you don't know, have that great accountant, wear poppy clothes or you're not on trend. Use social media. And if you want to run an e-commerce store, do it with a passion for your customer and making that difference, that relationship, instead of just, I want to run a store online and sell product. And if you do all that, and I see you're shaking your head, yes, do all that, then it's, we guarantee the Lisseur success.
That's like a great recap, and I have nothing to add over there.
There you go. Then I want to thank you, Clio. Is there anything, is it that simple? Lisseur.be? Is that where they have to
just
go?
that simple.
Okay, so check out the website, check out their social media, follow them on Instagram. I'll put everything in the descriptions on YouTube, on Spotify, where Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. It will be there. Connect with them, connect with Clio if you want to talk about entrepreneurship, if you want to get poppy clothes. And I'm looking forward to visiting your future store in Paris.
You know, you're always welcome, guys.
There you go. But I'm going to enter in Crocs just to mess with you. Good, Clio. Thank you very much. Thank you, Natalie V. So happy that you're back. We're going to have you in a future episode. Enjoy Ladies Month, ladies.
We will.
We will. Rockets.
There you go. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Wherever you are in the world right now, I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Natalie V. This was Clio Hendrickx. I was Marnik van den Broek, and that was the Stand Up Talk.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Are you listening? Damn.